In a small, remote town surrounded by dense forest, there lived a man named Philip. Philip was a clockmaker who loved repairing antique clocks brought to him by the locals. One day, a mysterious stranger arrived with an exceptionally peculiar clock. This clock was adorned with strange symbols and appeared to be ancient. As Philip began working on the clock, he discovered a miniature book hidden inside, written in an unfamiliar language. Intrigued, he started to decipher the book and learned that it spoke of a mystical artifact, a key of time, capable of controlling the flow of time and space. That evening, as Philip was finishing his work, 3 unknown figures in black cloaks burst into his workshop. They demanded the clock and the book, claiming it was their property. Scared, Philip tried to convince them he knew nothing, but the strangers were relentless. Suddenly, the clock began to emit a strange sound and glow, and within a moment, Philip and his unwelcome guests were transported to another dimension. This place was extraordinary. Floating islands surrounded them, and every movement seemed slowed. Philip realized they were trapped in a time loop created by the clock artifact. To escape, they needed to find the source of this anomaly and destroy it. Philip and his recent enemies formed a temporary truce and set off on a journey. As they progressed, they faced various dangers: carnivorous plants, distorted creatures, and bizarre time anomalies. Gradually, Philip noticed that one of the strangers, a woman named Alina, knew much more about this place than she let on. Secondary plotline: the scientist's secret. Among the 3 strangers, there was also a man named Victor, who seemed particularly interested in the technological aspects of the time loop. Victor was a scientist who had been experimenting with time travel, which inadvertently led him to the ancient artifact. Unbeknownst to the others, Victor was recording their journey with a hidden device, intending to use the data for his own experiments back in their world. The Lost Princess. The 3rd stranger, a young girl named Elora, was not what she seemed. She revealed to Philip that she was a princess from a long-lost kingdom that existed in this timeless dimension. Her ancestors had created the key of time to protect their realm, but it had been stolen, plunging her world into chaos. Elora was on a mission to retrieve the key and restore her kingdom. The rebel leader. Alina, meanwhile, was a leader of a rebel faction fighting against a tyrannical regime in their home world. She believed that the key of time could be the ultimate weapon to overthrow the oppressors and bring freedom to her people. Her deep knowledge of the time loop dimension came from her own research and encounters with ancient texts. Convergence of plotlines. One day, they discovered an ancient temple where, according to Alina, the key of time was kept. Inside the temple, they faced numerous traps and puzzles, but managed to overcome all obstacles. When they reached the central chamber, they were met with the biggest surprise yet. The key of time was not just an artifact. It was a living entity that had long guarded the balance of time and space. It explained that Philip was chosen not by chance. His expertise and ability to work with clocks made him the perfect candidate to protect the temporal balance. The strangers tried to seize the key of time, but Philip realized at the last moment that their intentions were selfish. He activated the ancient clock, transporting them all back to his workshop. Only now, it was not his workshop, but place he did not recognize. A future where technology and magic had merged into one. Climax and resolution. Philip stayed in this new world, studying new technologies and protecting the balance of time. The strangers, finding themselves out of their era, became lost and vanished, leaving Philip alone with his new mission. Victor, realizing he could not return, sought to manipulate the New World's technology for his gain, but was eventually stopped by Philip. Elara, reunited with remnants of her kingdom, began rebuilding it with Philip's help. Arlena, learning of her people's fate in this new timeline, joined forces with Philip to protect time and space. Unexpected twist. Philip soon discovered he was part of the time loop, and that the only way to break it was to destroy the key of time. He made the difficult decision and destroyed the artifact, leading to a sudden and unexpected outcome. Everything reverted to its original state as if nothing had happened, and Philip found himself back in his old workshop. However, Philip now had a new understanding and respect for the hidden mechanisms and potential of the clocks he worked on. He resumed repairing clocks, but with greater caution and reverence for their mysterious capabilities, forever changed by his extraordinary adventure.